This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. You're tuned into the TCSF podcast with Big Z featuring JC, Dynasty Fantasy Football, and Ivan from the Tape Never Lies. And we're coming straight to you from the 606 Media Studios, powered by True Chicago Sports Fans. This is episode 262, and we are fired up to dive into everything that makes Chicago great. Remember that 606 Media is your ultimate source for all things Chicago. Don't forget to swing by 606media.com to snag your official TCSF podcast t-shirts or check out the new exclusive for the Love of Sports merchandise line. Show off your Chicago pride. We also have new Water on the Weekend merch on there as well. They got new couple of shirts up there, so definitely check them out. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube or on Twitch, smash and subscribe that subscribe button. Smash that subscribe button. And if you're listening on your 5-star podcast app, leave us a 5-star review and some kind words. It means the world to us because it keeps us at the top of the charts. And if you're looking for more ways to get involved, support the show with the monthly subscription at anchor.fm/True Chicago Sports Fan. And for little 99 cents a month, you can keep the conversation going. While you're here, subscribe to the rest of the shows, which is Impossible with Big Z. You got No Water on the Weekend and this one. So definitely hit that subscribe button right there. And you'll get notifications every time we go live or we post a new clip, all that stuff. So definitely stay in tune with everything that's 606. So let's strap in and get ready to get ready for an unforgettable ride through the best of Chicago city sports. And let's get started with the Chicago Cubs. And they went over to the West Coast and swept the Angels with a dramatic 4-3 win that capped off a powerful weekend road trip. It was a good, I would say, perfect timing to see a team that's under 500. Cal Tucker finally showed up with 3 homers. Great slash line over those games. Matt Shaw's super hot. Brad Keller is still a bullpen anchor. Those are the good things. Seiya Suzuki's still struggling. So is Pete Armstrong. Kittredge is being overused. So I don't know. You guys are the Cub fans. That was just my take over that weekend. But what do you guys think?
I'll let Ivan go first.
Well, no, I mean, I'm happy that it, for the most part, it looks like it's going to be a race, right? It looks like there's going to be, a back and forth. The Cubs aren't going to be blown out, and, we're just going to be sitting here waiting for them to either, choke, the wild card away or, sneak in and then probably get beat in the divisional round or hell, the wild card, if you think about it. But for me, I'm still bothered by how they handled the Tucker situation. Knowing I get it's a money year for him, but you did this, like you allowed him to play through this to the detriment of not only himself, but the team as well. Like the team was hurting and they needed a spark, and Kyle wasn't able to provide it. Although I'm sure he was trying to fight through it, wasn't able to provide it because, in all lack of other words, it was kind of a selfish thing from both sides. The Cubs allowing him to go ahead and play hurt, Kyle wanting to go ahead and play hurt. I respect it, but is it the right thing to do? Fuck no. It was not the right thing to do. So I'm still kind of bothered by that. Am I happy that they've righted the ship? Right now, they got the Giants tonight. They went ahead and swept the Angels. The Brewers lost to this Giants team that the Cubs are about to face 2 out of 3.
Yep.
So maybe the Brewers are cooling off and the Cubs have a shot. But it just bothers me that we were in this position in the first place when things could have been a little bit different. Just a couple more moves here and there, and maybe the Cubs aren't struggling for about a month and a half, 2 months. It feels like it's just been it's been frustrating. Am I happy? Yes. Am I gonna go ahead and be like, all right, the Cubs are back, they're gonna go ahead and run away with this? No. I don't know what to think of them right now.
JC.
I agree with Ivan. I mean, me and Steven were able to go to a game last week, and that was against the Brew Crew, and that was the was it Monday or Tuesday, but it was the doubleheader. We went to the early game, um, and again, you sit there and watch Casey have his first home run ever in the big leagues. You watch him in game 2, did fantastic and played well. It's one of those, with Tucker struggling, with him having an injury, we should have brought Casey up way sooner, and admitted that, hey, you know what? Until your hand heals up, until you can grip a baseball, until you can grip a bat, whatever is the issue here, because let's face it, there was an issue for about a month with his batting. So, if he did in fact have a broken bone and needed a month to heal, why did we wait so long, knowing unless he hit it from the team, which I don't, most players are going to go to the doctor and say, hey, something's off, and again, they're going to do x-rays. They're going to do everything that they can to help the players on the team, or help diagnose and say, hey, you know what? Something minor. You should be able to play through it. Or, hey, you have a broken bone and, you're having kind of like the Hawks player in the Mighty Ducks can't hold a stick, and you got to have Charlie shoot the shootout, this is where we're at. And unfortunately, it cost us quite a bit of, games, and now we're behind the Brew Crew. I don't even know what we're behind anymore. I know it was at 7 after the Brew Crew stint.
I got it right here for you. Cubs are 5 back from the Brewers.
Mm-hmm.
The Cubs are off today.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not dire.
Cubs
It's
are,
definitely
no, the
not.
Cubs play tonight, I thought. Or is it tomorrow? Am I
let's
wrong?
see.
Am I?
I believe it's tomorrow. I believe they're off tonight. Yep, tomorrow.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yep,
There you go.
8:45. Yep. So they got 3 against the Giants starting
Awesome.
tomorrow.
I could go to. I don't have to worry about tonight. All this
Stay
fucking
up.
stress. Yeah.
Yeah, then they got the Rockies. So they're getting this extremely soft part of the schedule at the right amount of time. Again, and to address the Tucker thing, so who's in charge? Is it Jed? Is it your manager? The most paid, the highest paid manager in MLB history. Who's in charge? Is it Tucker? Because if they did the X-rays and they see that there's a break, why not put them right away on a 10-day IL? Hey, you know what? Let's take 10 days off. Let it heal. Let the swelling go down. Let's not stress it, and then move forward. Any other player, they would have went to the 15-day IL, 30-day IL with a broken hand. You're out for 6 weeks. Any other team, I just felt like it was a month too late. You should have done it at the end of July. Brought up Owen Casey. You could have made some moves other than that, as far as shuffling the outfield. I know Seiya's also slumping. Then PCA started slumping. Like, the whole team started slumping at the same exact time. Hopefully, this is the end of it. Now that we're coming to the end of August, that they are ending their slump, and now they're going to make their playoff push. Whether it is for the National League Central, we'll see how that plays out. But right now, they are leading in the wild card. They're the first team in the wild card. It's them, the Cubs. Then it's the Dodgers. Then it's the Padres. And then the Mets for the wild card. So your NL leaders, I don't know why. Why is it that makes no sense? This is MLB.com. They got the Padres as the NL leader in the West, but then put them in an NL wild card with 74 wins. So essentially, I would say Cincinnati Reds are sneaking in with 68 wins, right behind the Mets. So let's move if we remove the Padres. So they are facing the right teams right now. They have, I think the rest of the year they face everybody's under 500. And we talked about how they had the hardest schedule at the beginning and then the softest schedule going forward. But again, injuries and slumps like this that they had can derail that aspiration to go coast to coast. There's 6.5 games at the top of the wild card and 5 back. They should be making a push for the Central and not worry about the wild card. If that's your consolation prize, great. If not, so be it. but you're going to have to get hot at the end of the season, and they have to fix Seiya. Are you going to bench Seiya for a couple days as well? Because I know he was off yesterday. They're off today. Do give him an extra day. It's hard to put yourself in Craig Counsell's shoes because you don't know what he's doing. Matt Shaw is super hot. Oh, but he's facing a lefty, so we're not going to let him bat. Like I don't understand. I feel like there's too much information, and sometimes that information is detrimental to the progress of a team. The White Sox are doing the same thing. Colson Montgomery's not playing today. He just hit was it 3 home runs this weekend?
Mhm.
And because we're playing a lefty, no, we can't let him play. We can't let him struggle against a lefty. Well, how is he supposed to get better if he never faces left-handed pitching?
Right.
So I just don't know.
I think in Shaw's case, I think you can't put him on the bench because of his fucking glove at the same time. Right. You know, like, and that's why I'm getting like, it pisses you off, like, thinking about it, man. It's like you see the plays that he's been making out there defensively, his bat's coming around, and your first thought is, let's go coddle him again. Like he's fine. Let him play. Like you said, let him play through it. If he goes 0 for 3 against the fucking lefty, so be it.
Right.
So be it. But what if he goes 1 for 3 against the lefty, and that 1 for 3 is a fucking bomb? You know, let's say he jumps on a first pitch fastball, right? His first at bat's a bomb, and he goes 0 for 2 the rest of the game. Well, guess what? We just got a home run out of him that you never would have known if he was sitting on the fucking bench.
I want to give you my perfect example of this, and this is just White Sox related because it is. Andrew Vaughn. Anytime there was a lefty, nope, you're not hitting. Nope, you're not hitting. You're sitting down. And guess what Milwaukee's doing? Playing them as much as they can. You've got to give these guys a chance to get better against lefties. This coddling of like, oh, you struggle, so we're not going to play you. The only way you're going to get better is by facing lefties. And guess what? Most teams have dominant lefties. So are you giving away a game or two? Like if you're facing, back in the day, Chris Sale and Carlos Rodon, 2 flamethrowers, both left-handed, are you giving up 2 games out of the series because you don't want to hurt your all-stars numbers? This is ridiculous. If he's hot, he's hot. Let him keep being hot. Also, the defensive side, Colson Montgomery and Shaw have been picking everything. Why would you try to change the momentum of a kid or kids that are actually succeeding in the major leagues at the major league level instead of keeping them down in the minor leagues and giving them extra at bats? I just don't understand the MLB process right now. Israel, thanks for joining in. Remember the Marlins won the World Series in yes, as a wild card. There's been a couple. Arizona, I think, was a wild card team too in 2001. So there's been a lot. There's been a lot of wild cards that teams that make it. So, so how do you guys see this next upcoming series against the Giants, who are at the moment 63-68, 4-6 in their last 10? They got some bats, but it's just I feel like they've just been scuffling. All that money they spent and they can't do anything with it.
Well, I mean, as we go into the backstretch of these, under 500 teams or 500 teams, hopefully this is the get right time of the year where these Cubs can start getting hot, start getting the bats going again, and get on the right track. I mean, facing the Rockies is always a good start, to put you on the right track. But, as you said, we faced the hardest part of the schedule at the beginning of the season and we crushed it. And then all of a sudden we got to the middle part of the season and we slumped a little bit. Now's the time to get right, to get these guys hitting again, get back to the fundamentals, get back to, and I know we're talking about Shaw and all this stuff. You know what? There's good things with statistics and then there's bad things with statistics, right? So yes, when somebody's statistics say they are bad against a lefty, okay, that's something to keep in mind. But you also have to have a gut feeling and ignore the statistics sometimes to, like you said, have a guy get better, to figure it out and everything else. And that's where sometimes, if you coddle somebody, they're never going to get better if you keep putting them in positions where they cannot improve. They can't get better. They can't see major league left-handed pitchers because, great. I understand they face guys in AA, AAA, but let's face facts. AA and AAA is not professional major league pitchers. Like, guys just have different stuff in the majors. So Shaw's got a learning curve. We talked about earlier in the season that his bat was not very good. It's improving. And for it to improve, he has to go against major league pitchers. But again, if you're going to just follow the statistics and say, he's batting a 160 against left-handed pitchers, we're pulling him, that does the kid no justice either. And you could say like, okay, well, he's going to improve in the offseason all you want. But at the same time, who are you replacing with him, like defensively? Because like we said, he's had some great plays defensively that it's like, how do you replace?
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, to the converse side would be like, oh, well, this is right-hand batter and he struggled against right-handers. Well, 2/3 of the league is right-handers. So what? That guy's never going to play. He's going to play one day out of the series. Like, I just don't get it. There's more than the analytics. There has to be a gut reaction from the manager. There has to be trusting your player and also giving him something to overcome. If he slumps for a week against left-handers, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to set you down. Let's go to the batting cages. Let's go to the simulation. Let's do all the cool, expensive stuff that you have, right? And take care of it that way. I don't know if I told you guys or if I told somebody at the bar, but Toronto Blue Jays installed this state-of-the-art pitching machine. And it's got a screen on it, and it's got a hole, whatever, and that's where the ball comes out of. So at home, they're practicing against a pitcher who they're going to be going against. So it puts in all the stats, everything they throw, exactly the spin rate, exactly the same speed. So if you're facing a lefty and you practice 2, 3, 4, 5 hours prior to the game, and you're getting the pitcher's tendencies, why wouldn't you do it? Also, I know it's a very expensive thing to do. I don't know where the Cubs can put that because there's really no room in Wrigley to renovate more to put something like that because it does take a lot of room. I mean, the White Sox do have room to put that somewhere. But if you have that kind of technology and those kind of analytics to be like, all right, well, this pitcher throws this much at this percentage at this spin rate at this speed during this situation, then you can expose those players to that. But conversely, it's just like, come on, what are we doing here?
Yeah, but then you go watch some of these like overlays where like the pitcher's arm is in the exact same position, but it's one of those where like one's a cutter, one's a fastball, one's a curveball, and like their wind up delivery, everything is exactly
right.
the
Those are the great pitchers, though.
right.
I mean, those are the echelon pitchers. Those are the 1% of the 1%.
Yeah. Like I said, you watch Skeens or you watch who's the new guy out of Milwaukee. But like I said, I've watched like overlays of them pitching, and it's one of those where like their arm motion, everything is in the exact same position, and it's like they're serving up 3 different pitches from the exact same position. And it's like the ball movement, you don't know where it's going basically from like unless the guy's got a tell in his windup, it's one of those where, you could be off by a mile.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely what it can be. Let's see. All right, so they're on the road for a little bit. So I'm really hoping that the Cubs can pull up the steering. What is it? The controls on the airplane and pull it from that free fall that it was doing with the engine cut off. You know what I'm saying? I hope they can really come across and get back into within 3 games, 2 games of the division, so that way it's exciting down the road. But I don't know where we're at. I know Steven's crapping his pants tonight because it's supposed to be 93 wins for that hat, and it's supposed to be 60 wins for the White Sox. So we'll see what's going on. I know he hasn't texted since he said he had allergy issues.
Yeah, he hasn't texted since I called him up.
Oh,
I said go take a Benadryl or a Zyrtec, and we'll see you in 4 hours.
yeah, take two. Well, if he took a Benadryl, it probably knocked him out. Definitely probably knocked him out. All right, let's switch over to the south side of Chicago. The White Sox have been pretty good as of lately. They took 2 of 3 from the Minnesota Twins, the Twinkies, who are pretty much a minor league team at this point because they traded the entire team at the deadline. So expectedly, they came out swinging, and the White Sox offense has been great in this series. Again, they're surprising everybody, posting outstanding OPS, slugging, and averages. Um, Colson Montgomery, this dude was at the brink of being put at the clearance shelf at the at at Target, and went to Arizona, got himself right, and now he's just hitting bombs away. He's got 12 home runs, and he's been here a little bit over a month. And I was looking at Benintendi's number. Benintendi's got 14 home runs, and he's been here all year. Like, make that make sense. The highest paid players got 14 home runs, while this kid who just showed up in 6 weeks ago is just raking. So I'm excited to see and they sat him down today. So I don't get it. He hit a bomb yesterday. It was great, and I thought he hit a grand slam earlier this week. And the White Sox at the moment, let me pull that up right here. The White Sox at the moment are 47 and 83. They've won the last 2 games. So I need 13 games. 13 games to 60. The road to 60 is getting exciting for me. And it's going to be fun. I mean, it's the White Sox right now. They're winning 6-0 against the Kansas City Royals, who are barely over 500, or 3 games over 500. And you're seeing, they have a 3-headed horse with the 3 catchers in the lineup, rotated in and out with Corey Lee and Edgar Carroll. They're doing very well. They're batting about, 260 and above. I think Carroll's batting 280. Sosa, who's just coming back from a small injury, back in the lineup, already's got a lot. I was going to say a rebound. Sorry, Angel Reese. I don't want to steal your rebounds. On RBI. So Miguel Vargas. I know they DFA'd. JC dropped off. They DFA'd a player this week. It didn't really matter. They signed him over the year. He was hurt to start off. Nothing to mention there, but the White Sox have been doing marvels with pitching and definitely reclamation projects, as Hauser was fixed and sent off. And then right now we got Shane Smith pitching. And then yesterday they had who did they have? I had it right here. That was my games. Yesterday they had, Jesus Christ, here we go. Yeondres Gomez, who was let go from the Yankees and I believe the Dodgers. He was DFA'd twice this season. They picked him up, threw him into the system of the White Sox AAA team, and fixed him. He gave us 5 innings, 1 run. 0 runs. I'm sorry, 3 walks and 6 strikeouts. I really see what Chris Kretz is doing with the White Sox. He's grabbing these players, reclamation players, and fixing them. And I know Thor is still down in the minor leagues. I'm waiting to see when he comes up. That'll be exciting. But again, though, you're looking at Benintendi. I hope that they trade him. He does not belong on this team. We don't need him. He doesn't move the needle for myself or White Sox fans. You got Edgar Carroll, Colson Montgomery, Kyle Teal, Chase Mydroff being the future of the White Sox. Luis Robert, that's a question, right? The $20 million question. Will he continue be part of the team or be traded during the offseason or again in the trade deadline at the end of this year? That's going to be the big question because he's a pretty good center field. He made 4 great outfield plays that robbed hits yesterday. He's been hitting a little bit better, a couple home runs this weekend. So again, it's looking nice. Our bullpen's been okay. And they were overused this past week, but we got Wickham and Gonzalez, Mike Vassell, and Brandon Urser who were pretty good. So It's looking good on the south side. I am mad I forgot that yesterday was Ken Griffey bobblehead day, or else I would have went and grabbed that. Definitely kicking myself in the butt for that. But they have a new bobblehead coming out in a couple weeks or next week. The Ice Cube White Sox bobblehead. Would you guys be interested in an Ice Cube bobblehead?
Yeah.
Today was a good day.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, it's
Yes, is that something you like? You want to go to, like, or just for what? Or you're like, if I can get it, great. If not,
yeah, it's kind of like that. Because I mean, like, what did he just wore the hat? You know,
he did wear the hat a lot. Him and Easy did wear the hat a lot. So, the White Sox, to wrap it up, they're playing the Royals at the moment, and they will continue to play them for a couple of days, and then the Yankees come into town Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A 4-game Yankee series. And then the White Sox go over to the Twins and Tigers. So that's what we're looking at a long home stretch. So I'm excited. Hopefully, I might want to go to one of these Yankee games. So I'll let the boys know.
oh, I'm down with that.
There we go. All right, let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about our Chicago Bears. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey there, Chicago enthusiasts. Are you ready to take your fandom to the next level? The True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast has got you covered with some serious cool merch that screams Chicago pride. From cozy sweaters to trendy tank tops, we got it all. Show off your love for the city with our iconic red, white, and blue logo, or stand out with our exclusive collection for the love of sports. Whether you're lounging at home, breaking a sweat at the gym, or cheering on your team at a game, our gear is a must-have for all you diehard Chicago sports fans out there. Don't hesitate. Visit bonfire.com/store/606-media-store/. Or simply just click the link in the description and snag your gear ASAP. Get ready to make some noise, show your pride, and embrace the Chicago spirit with True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast merch. Designed for you, the ultimate fan, for the love of sports. Hey guys, it's Steven.
And this is Sean, and you are listening to True Chicago Sports Fans.
Don't forget to listen to No War on the Weekend. New episodes on Monday. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, so we're going to go do a couple of shots. So let's kick it back over to Big Z.
Welcome back to the TCSF podcast with Big Z. We got Ivan from the Tape Never Lies and JC Dynasty Fantasy Football. And it's time to talk about our Chicago Bears. And we're going to do that in our segment called 3 Up. And no, 3 and Out. Sorry. That's always all these threes. 3 and Out. Boom, baby, boom. The Chicago Bears played the Kansas City Chiefs in their hometown. And it was a nail biter. It was a nail biter. That first half did not look so great. Looked a little rusty. Looked like some internal problems there when it comes to certain plays. Caleb struggled a little bit, but then right to ship in the second quarter. Tyson Bagent did come into the second half and was just cooking, just straight cooking. I don't know if it was a contract that he just got and he was excited, or it was super easy because he's playing against the Bears defense, playing against the Chiefs seconds and thirds and fourths. So Caleb was 11 for 15, 113 yards, 1 touchdown. Tyson Bagent, 20 for 28, 212 yards, 3 touchdowns. Swift was 7 for 28 with 4-yard average. Dunze led receiving with 3 receptions, 45 yards, and a touchdown. Let's see. Tyler Scott had 3 for 37. Ozzy. I can never say his last name.
Zacharias.
There's no R in there. Ozzy.
Zacchaeus.
Yeah, well, Ozzy got 3 for 37.
Olamide Zacchaeus.
Zacchaeus. See, thank you. You looked it up, didn't you?
No, it's
okay.
Just, you say it a few times, and you should be.
I gotta listen to Joniak. I need Joniak in my ear to say it. And once he says it, I can pick it. Him or Thayer. I know Thayer plays around with it as well. DJ Moore 1 for 14. I'm like, where was DJ Moore? And Swift caught 1 pass for 6 yards. So, boys, what was your impression of the Bears' production this past Friday against the Chiefs?
I guess I'll start off. I called it last week. I said OZ is going to sneakily be a guy on this team that is going to be Caleb's relief valve. Everybody's talking up Luther Burden, which respectfully, like, he's a rookie. He's going to make his plays, but I really think OZ is going to be a guy that Caleb is going to rely on to move the chains. That underneath work that basically Keenan Allen did for the Bears last year. The steady Eddie, going to catch the ball, move the chains, where I think Rome's going to be that X receiver. And DJ's playing wide receiver too right now. And like I said, I said it, when I observed him at training camp twice. I don't know that DJ's really having a good connection with Caleb right now. We'll see what happens once the regular season starts, but it's looked kind of off between Caleb and DJ, where Rome is really the guy he's looking for. And again, if Rome's not there, it's like he's going to OZ, who's tends to be wide open because he's a shifty underneath player. So I talked about it a week or two ago that, if anybody, Luther Burden's coming for their job, Luther's coming for DJ, and we'll see what happens.
Ivan?
I think DJ will be fine once the season starts, but it's just little things that need to be cleaned up. That's all. That's how I see it. Like, there's going to be growing pains. Do I think the Bears are going to be Super Bowl contenders this year? No. Can they be fighting for a wild card spot? Yeah, they should be. Like, they should be fighting for a wild card spot. I think they have enough talent to do that. This is a 7 to 9 win team, right? Like, it all depends on how they want to perform and if they can, beat some of the better teams on their schedule. I'm looking just for the progress. Like I said, progress with the offense, progress with the offensive line, progress with the defensive line. Defensive line kind of in second, and the secondary have kind of got me a little nervous. But, other than that, I got to just get to the season. Like, I can't, am I upset with how they started? Yes, I'm upset with how they started. But again, I don't want there to be no vanilla type of play calling. I don't want there to be a vanilla type of defensive play calling. Just get to the season. Let's see it for real. Let's see what you actually want to run, and judge from there. We could talk about certain players that should be on this team, right? Walker, a guy that should be on this team. I think Britton Brown should make this team as a running back. Travis Homer's injured. Roshan's injured. Can you trust Roshan to be on the field?
No.
Travis Homer is a special teams guy. So it's like, there's a few questions there about, who's going to make this roster, as far as role players are concerned. But if it's about Caleb, like, I'm just going to allow it to play out, man. One or two, a sack taken here, a missed pass there. Like, that's fine. Whatever. It's preseason. Get that shit out of the way. You have 2 weeks to correct it. If we're seeing it in week 9 or week 10, then I'll have some concerns. Then I'll have something to say about it. But I think Ben Johnson has done a great, and their staff have done a great job. Was I upset about the first preseason game? Yes, because you could have gotten more reps, right, and maybe cleaned up some of the shit you were doing. But
I feel like he didn't want to be exposed. He didn't want to have a negative connotation. It's like,
I don't think it's about being exposed. I just think it's about, like, hey man, get your guys out there and let them make the mistakes they need to fucking make, and allow you to coach them up. And again, it's nothing. It's not me crucifying Ben Johnson for just that. It's just something I didn't like. But as a whole, I think he has the right. He's the right coach for the job to get Caleb on the right track. That's how I see it. Just allow it to progress.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Caleb will be a better quarterback as the season goes. What I don't want is him to regret, going back to his old ways of running around thinking he has all the time in the world. This is the NFL. Get the ball out on under 3 seconds. Let's go. There was a play where he did, there was a play action play and it blew up and he just ran for like 15 yards. Okay, great. You can use your legs, use your discretion, but your eyes should be looking down the field as you're doing that. As you get to the line of scrimmage, do I have anything else? No, cool, tuck it. He was holding that ball with the wrong hand until the defender came, and then he switched hands and then put it up towards the sideline. That I did not like. If you know you're, I didn't like the ball exposed. In other words, DJ Moore again has not had a impressive preseason. Will he just turn it on? I don't know. Romo Dunze dropped another easy catch right in his hands. That will seem to be a problem. He likes those hard catches, those crazy acrobatic ones that he can do, but them basket simple in your wheelhouse, he's dropped a couple this preseason. Cole Kmet and Colson Lovin look pretty good so far. I mean, it looks like we're going, with Jones, Tooney, Dahlman, Jackson, and Wright. No surprises there, right? I think Trapillo can at some point overtake Braxton Jones, or if Braxton Jones goes down with an injury, God forbid. And then you have Kirian Amagache. I think the Bears have a good rotation of guys that can handle the offensive line, especially with this new scheme where the ball's getting out of Caleb's hands, especially now that he's under center. And it's like, all right, this is your play. These are your options. Get your reads in. If not, throw it away. Live to fight another down. It is not the end of the world if we lose, a down, but don't lose a down in yards. Don't. And there was a couple of plays at the beginning, start of the preseason game, like false starts and stuff like that, just dumb penalties. And the coach at the end of the game said, that they didn't play right. They still need a lot of work. So all I can say is I'm optimistic on what the season can be. I'm ready for every other Bears season, just like every other Bears fan. I expect them be in the 9 to 10 game range and be in that wild card hunt. So I don't know about you guys.
Well, I'm going to bring up one question, and we talked about this last week, right? It got brought up. What would you pay to have Brian Robinson on the Bears? And I got to ask, would you guys have given up the 6th and pay him $1.5 million that San Francisco is doing to have him as the backup instead of Roshan? Ivan, would you have done it? Because I would.
Yeah, because Roshan's he's not on the field. You need to be on the field. That's what it is. I mean, I'll wait and see if they're going to go ahead and sign somebody here. I know the SMA got cut by Denver. Maybe they like him in short yardage situations. I'd like a big heavy running back like that. That could get downhill and goal line. But yeah. I mean, to be honest, to your point, JC, it's just you can't trust the running back room fully right now. It's Swift and Moningai, and I know they really like Moningai, but Moningai's a rookie. You still don't know what the fuck Roshan Johnson is, and I don't think we ever will. Travis Homer, like I said, is a specials team guy. There's probably should have been at least kicking the tires on the move. I don't know if maybe they were, maybe not.
They worked out 4 running backs last week before the game.
Right. So obviously they're going to go the route of, hey, this year we're going to play running back by committee and see how that goes. And I'm sure next season they'll be focused on drafting a running back. Maybe 2 of them, to be honest with you. You might draft one early and then, and I'm talking about maybe within the
you pull a
second or third round. Right. Yeah.
Where Cleveland took Judkins and Sampson.
Right. Yeah.
But again, we talked about it last week where, somebody basically said no, thanks. If they release them, I'll sign them, but I don't want to give anything up. And to me, it was listen, how many 6th rounders realistically make the team? I will give up a 6th round pick to bring this guy on the team to be the backup to Swift. And I talked about it. This is your Sonic and Knuckles. Brian Robinson is like 6'1", 230, and then you got Swift, who is your Sonic. I think it would have been a great compliment. And again, maybe Poles and these guys are happy with Roshan, but again, you can't trust a guy who's never on the field, that has history of concussion issues, foot issues. There's a laundry list of issues that he has with medical stuff. And it's one of those where, I know Washington was happy with their running back room, but I saw Brian Robinson as an upgrade to the Bears, to have somebody that is third down, goal line, short yardage in that way of usage. And we'll see, maybe there's somebody that gets cut here in the next couple days that, will be an interesting play for the Bears in the running back room.
They released a bunch of players today, and Ian Wheeler, running back Ian Wheeler, was one of them.
Yeah, but with Wheeler, I could see him coming back and being on like the scout team, kind of thing. Where the practice squad where like they stash him. I could see that happening with Ian Wheeler. Because
he played great.
He did, but it's one of those like, again, I attended 2 of the practices. He did have some mistakes here and there, but it's one of those. I think Wheeler, because of his injury last year, because he came from a smaller school division, et cetera, in college, there's a little bit of a learning curve for Wheeler. I think they like his talent. Like he has the speed, he's able to catch the ball, et cetera, but it's just one of those where, it's those fine details that he needs just some more work. So again, I think we'll stash him away on the practice squad, and hopefully we can hold on to him.
What's up, Crooked Commish? He's chiming in. JC or Ivan, can you address this? Interesting to see Skipper get cut in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
You know who that is?
Yeah, it's their lineman that was going out and like catching passes and shit.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, no. I mean, I don't. I think they have the guys that they want right now. If somebody goes down and he's still out there, maybe because of familiarity. As of right now, I wouldn't see it.
Yeah, I was actually talking to Jose before we actually came on the air, and there's actually a rumor the Bears are looking to trade some of the offensive linemen that we have, just because they signed so many guys in the offseason and with trading for Tooney and Jackson and all these other guys and signing Dahlman. We actually signed a bunch of guys in the offseason that it's one of those where there's a couple guards that we can't hold on to everybody and we can't have them on the roster. So, guys like Bates and some of these other guys, you got to find a spot for them or you got to trade them. So, even if we get a 6th round pick for them or something, another team may need that depth and we have way too much. So, I don't see us bringing in somebody. I mean, unless Ben Johnson loves this guy and, loved him in Detroit, I just don't see it.
Does Walker make the team? Is it Jahade Walker? The running back?
I don't know who's like, they have like a
wide receiver.
Like another day. They have like another day.
Yeah, wide receiver. Sorry.
Like half a day to figure this out before they finalize the 53. I want him on the fucking team. Like the guy's making plays left and right. You know who shouldn't be on the team? Scott. Scott shouldn't be on the fucking team. It's been 4 fucking years or whatever it's been with Scott.
That's Bajan's boy. That's Bajan's number one target.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. It's been enough.
We discussed this last week that Scott is, in my opinion, the odd man out. I think Alexander has better talent than Scott.
Yes, I agree with that.
Boykin, he's been all over the league for years. with the Ravens and a couple other teams. I don't know that he makes it. We'll see. Because again, you got to look at it. You're definitely keeping Rome, DJ,
Yep.
Luther Burden,
Yep. OZ.
Then you're basically it's who can play special teams. Alexander can play special teams.
You got Richardson, Boykin, and Duvernay, and Scott, and Jahade Walker.
Yeah, which I think Duvernay also, because of his return abilities, is there for that purpose and that purpose alone of being your quote unquote like Devin Hester special team only guy. So like I said, I could see Boykin getting cut. I could see Scott getting cut. And like I said, I think Alexander may stay on the team if he can prove himself as a returner or a punt returner. But even he may be a possibility of going. Unfortunately, like you don't really want to hold on to those guys that are like the smaller stature, the 5'8", 5'9", 5'10" guys. Those guys, unfortunately, you already got one in OZ, so I think going with somebody of a taller stature is the way to go.
Well, it's going to be interesting who stays on the team, who gets cut. Definitely we'll keep you guys updated by posting everything on our Facebook page. So go over there and stay updated with our news. I know there was a couple of trades that I posted in the NFL. But I also want to talk about us being live and in person at Output Lounge, 1758 West Grand. So that's Grandingwood in the Westtown neighborhood. We'll be live for the first 4 games there. We're gonna have a bunch of merch that you guys can start wearing. Some specialty merch just for that game. We'll be there for pregame, halftime, and a post-game show. Tons of surprises, raffles. Definitely a fun time and great food and great drinks there. We will be sponsored by 3G Tequila. So lots of adult beverages will be flowing. So it's going to be a great time. And in September, we are going to be the Roast Masters at the Output Lounge and Crime Stoppers, a golf outing. Looks like it September 12th, if I remember correctly. And your boys are going to be making fun of people's swings. Lots of cops are going to get made fun of. So if we get arrested the next day, you know why.
Or if something allegedly ends up in my vehicle.
Yeah, I'm definitely emptying out the truck before I go anywhere.
Or if we just get shot,
They call it a desk pop, sir. Desk pop.
Baton to the skull.
That's not a 9-iron, sir.
Oh man, there was a couple I seen today. They're all cops, and he's like, "Man, I just looked at the back of your head and seen so many hot dogs. Like, I assumed you were a cop. 4 hot dogs back there, like just stuff like that. Just man, I can't wait to roast these guys, these cops, and these other stuff. So it's gonna be fun. I know Ivan's gonna enjoy. Taking off the chain off Ivan is great when he's loose and goosey. We're gonna have cigars and all types of stuff. We're gonna have a great time. JC also and Steven. Looks like Sean might make it. Sean's pretty funny when he's he's got the juice in him. So it's gonna be a fun time with all. Yeah, when Sean gets loose, oh boy, watch out. So definitely all that.
See, but I'm the person, like, when I say some stuff, like it might cross the line a little bit. Like I like to tiptoe over that line.
I'm just glad we're filming it, so that way there's video evidence for court when JC gets shot.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I might get a baton to the skull. Like, there's no doubt about it.
Oh,
yeah. A nice iron to the skull. Yeah, definitely.
There might be some me getting tossed in the back of a vehicle and body cam shut off. And next thing you know, I got a black eye.
You're lucky we're not in Florida. They're probably tossing into one of those ponds with those gators in there.
Oh, Gator Alcatraz, yeah.
I know we kind of covered everything, but JC went on an adventure based on what we talked about last week. So JC, go ahead and take it.
Yeah, as everybody knows, last week I was on vacation and still kind of on vacation. But I took a trip to Smoothie King to get the ketchup smoothie. I don't know if Big Z still has the photo or
It dropped once you dropped it, dropped the photo, but I can go ahead and describe it. I'll look for it.
I got it. I'll
Beautiful.
put it back out there. As everybody knows, Smoothie King had like a nice little Heinz ketchup tomato smoothie from Smoothie King. So I stopped over there. I happened to be not too far from it for I had an appointment in the area. So stopped in, grabbed one, and did a little review on it and everything for the guys. And you know what? It wasn't terrible. However, I will say that the vinegar of the ketchup it is pronounced. So the vinegar is really kind of what killed it for me. Otherwise, it wasn't terrible. Like if the vinegar had not been so pronounced, like if something else could have been like the first thing you taste, it would have been much better. But again, like overall, like I give it a, you know, if you're interested in giving it a try, give it a try. But it's one of those like honest to God, like don't go out of your way and try it if you're not really interested in trying it, because again, for me the vinegar just kind of overpowered things, and like I said, I couldn't even really get through like even a third of the
Would you
cup.
dip your hot dog in there? Because you're a ketchup guy on a hot dog.
Probably not. Just because there were a lot of berry flavors still, because they do try and make it a smoothie. So it did have some berry flavors, blueberry, raspberry, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But again, it was just the vinegar of the ketchup really stood out. Even when I'm eating regular ketchup, it doesn't seem that pronounced with the vinegar. So again, if it's something that floats your boat and you really want to try it, I'm going to say it's not terrible. But it's definitely got an acquired taste.
Ivan, you're not tasting this, are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Yeah. I thought we're all in agreement. JC is a ketchup fanatic, and thank you for trying it. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll post that video up on the Facebook page tonight, so that way you guys can.
I mean, it was about $7 for that little cup, whatever. But
$7 too much.
for again, $7 for a gag for the podcast. Why not? It's worth
That's
it.
different. That's completely different. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it's an acquired taste, and like I said, I wouldn't go out of the way to get it. But
yeah, you could just go ahead and just grab a can of tomato paste and like chill it and spin it around and just pop a straw in there, and that'd probably be the same thing. I mean, right?
No, because I'm Italian and I love tomato paste.
Okay, it's just straight ketchup. You got to freeze the ketchup. Just freeze the ketchup.
No, again, because like tomato paste, like true tomato paste, like Italians, like there's no vinegar. Like I said, it was the vinegar of the ketchup that really just killed it for me. Because like I said, that drink, I don't know why, but like the vinegar was just, like I said, it was the first thing you tasted, and then it was like, okay, like now I'm tasting berries, like, but it's like you just get like that hit of vinegar, which I'm not like some people like salt and vinegar chips. I do not. I hate salt and vinegar chips. Like it is the nastiest tasting thing to me. So like if you're a person that likes salt and vinegar chips, you might like this drink. But again, it's not for me. Again, if you don't trust my review and you want to go try it, it's $7 for a cup of smoothie. And like I said, I've tasted worse things in my life, but I don't think I would do it again.
Yeah, that's a no for me, dog. If I'm going to Smoothie King, there's tons of other options that you can have that are going to be great tasting. There's like a strawberry banana with dark chocolate and protein. It tastes like if you're Mexican, chocomil. like the chocolate powder from Mexico, like the Nesquik kind of version of it. There's tons of great fruits and all kinds of stuff that you can add. Yeah, and I know Smoothie King is huge, especially in the South. They're trying to come up here, but I was a big Jamba Juice guy. I used to be there like every morning when I was in banking. I'd be at Jamba Juice, get my big old Jamba Juice, and just being dumb and ignorant, not knowing that that was just a bunch of sugar. Like, why am I gaining weight? Because it's like 4 pounds of sugar in here. Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to talk about, boys, before we get out of here? I know Ivan's got to do another show. JC is doing a lot of stuff for us behind the scenes.
I'm actually going to bounce. So I'll holla.
All right. We'll see you next week, Ivan.
Peace, guys.
Peace.
I mean, WWE, what's going on there?
Naomi came out that she was pregnant and had to relinquish her title. So right now they're trying to figure out what they're going to do for the big PLE in Paris. You got Logan Paul going to be fighting John Cena. John Cena destroyed him on the mic this past Friday, just literally called out all his insecurities and his legal issues. We'll see what that match is going to come out of, because John, he's a machine. He's definitely going to give you the John Cena repertoire, the 5 moves of doom that he does. And we know Logan Paul has been, very acrobatic and innovative, and he's trying to prove that he's not a part-timer. But I don't know, he's easy to be hated. He's very easy to be hated, and
yeah, I mean, he's the almost Dominic Mysterio, if you will, or Dominic Mysterio.
Wow,
I was like, no, wait, Mysterio's not right, and I'm like, no, yeah, it is.
It is.
I don't know why, because like it was one of those for a second. I was like, Guerrero? No, it's not Guerrero. Even though they did that storyline back, when Eddie was still alive. No, he is not Eddie's son. He is Rey Mysterio's son. I don't know where we're going. You introduced John and Lesnar, and now all of a sudden it's I don't know that.
That's why I don't know where that's going, right? Because they kind of introduced that Logan Paul angle, and then the last PLE, Brock came out and whooped John Cena's ass, and then
which we all know Lesnar is a part timer,
right?
So you can't really go against him when he's not in building.
But it just doesn't make sense. I mean, I love to see John Lesnar and John Cena go. Brock Lesnar and John Cena go at it. That's perfectly fine. But I think there's 8 dates left for John Cena, and I'll be going to one of them. They're going to be in Chicago, and I'm going. I just don't see how you can build something very quickly to have meaning for his last match. Like, we don't know,
unless Lesnar comes out again, with him and Paul, and makes him lose to Paul, and but it's one of those where it's like it seems like a very predictable storyline right now, where it's just like
they fucked up. They fucked up with him. They had him drop
the title to Cody way too early. In my opinion, because I don't know if they felt pressure to have storylines with Cody, start developing so that they can move on from John. But it's one of those, again, I think it was way too early to drop the belt to Cody, that, the heel storyline was working. And then, it's one of those where it's like, you should have just kept going down that road. But I guess there's too many heels right now in the business with Seth Rollins and Logan Paul, and so too many heels, not enough baby faces. So, but again, it's this, if this is the man's final run, like, I just, you kind of stripped him bare and left him hanging out to dry to be like the C player on the roster, or the C match. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. I felt like Randy should have been like the last match and beat him for the title. That way, Randy can continue his streak of overtaking John eventually for the most championships than one. That would have been great to do. Him and CM Punk could have went at it for a month, and then CM Punk comes up on top, and then you could have Brock Lesnar come out and beat the crap out of everybody at the end. Cool send off. Everyone looks good. There could have been a lot of final ways to do it. Obviously, he's not going to fight the Undertaker.
Yeah. So my whole thing is like with 8 dates left.
Yeah.
Obviously, if he's not on TV every Monday, is he?
On Fridays, no.
Or Fridays.
Yeah, he's not on.
So my whole thing is, so basically the 8, whatever he has left, because I don't know if he's counting like, what he did with Logan Paul the other night as a date.
Yes. Everything
Okay.
counts. Yeah.
So basically, I mean, like my whole thing is just like so he goes against Logan. Brock steps in. He has this thing out. So is Brock, who he's facing, as the last opponent?
And puts him in the ground, because the last time he faced John faced Brock, it was like 16 or 17 suplexes in a row, and then he just pinned him. Yeah, he's got Montreal. Sorry, what are we on? We're on 8. We're 8/25th. All right, so
Yep.
You got 8/29. So this Friday in France, in Lyon, and then 2 days later, Clash in Paris on 8/31, and then SmackDown on 9/5, and then 9/15 Raw. Is that what it's showing? That can't be all of them, is it? Is that all of them? I know he had 8 or 9 left. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, so like he's really not even making it to December.
I'm trying to see where. Yeah, it's got to be making.
That's why I'm wondering, like, if like he is going to go to just like pay-per-views, or.
Oh, there we go. That was the end of August. He's got 3 in October and 1 in December.
Okay, so
He's got.
So basically, like what we're looking at is he gets buried by Lesnar and then comes back in December and beats Lesnar. Is kind of what I'm looking at.
Will you have him? I mean, again, he's got August. He's going to be off in September, back in October for 3 dates. Because 2 of them, it's that weekend in Perth, Australia, where they have SmackDown, the Crown Jewel, which is a pay-per-view or PLE, whatever. Then they have Raw. So that 3-day weekend. Then he's gone all of November, and then comes back in December for 1 match in Boston.
Right, which I assume would be a PLE as well.
But like, who are they going to give him? The right thing to do would be to have him face somebody that he started out with. I mean, I wish Kurt Angle was still wrestling, or and he didn't beat up his body, because that would have been a good bookend, right? His first televised match was on SmackDown against Kurt Angle. I believe is in Chicago as well.
I mean, the only guy really I could see that would be a draw would be The Rock, but I don't know how you would do that storyline in such a short period of time.
Yeah, you can't, because it's nothing in December.
Although I guess
November.
they did start the storyline where Cena was The Rock's, whatever with Cody.
Yeah, but
where
they dropped the ball on that.
But that's the problem is, when you have these part-timers doing part-time things, and then like you create a storyline, but then The Rock can't be there, and then it's one of those where I don't understand what they're trying to accomplish or what they're trying to do. And it's one of those where even with Lesnar, like we're sitting here talking about that he can't be there. Like Lesnar basically, even in his contract years ago, was basically all he did was, pay-per-views or like anything that was near Minnesota, because he didn't want to travel.
Yeah, he's not a people person. He's definitely not a people person. Do not approach that man in the wild. He cuts up meat for a living. Don't do it. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I know today's Raw was in our time afternoon. I watched some of it. Kind of fell asleep when I took my nap. But yeah, there's a lot going on. I know Stephanie Valkyrie was supposed to go for the title against Naomi. and now they're trying to figure out what to do because she was the number one contender, and they don't want to do like a Royal Rumble or some type of match in that format where someone else is going to get the title, and then Valkyria has to fight for it. Like, so who knows what's going to happen with that? You're seeing the little bits of Judgment Day kind of breaking out because Dominic Mysterio is doing stuff on the side, and you got Finn Balor possibly flipping on them. So there's little nuggets here and there, but it's in my opinion it's coming down, and I hope they can fix what was going on. So
Yeah, it just like I said, I think there's too many people in the kitchen trying to cook up storylines, and I think where things were on the upswing, like I just don't. And again, things can be, John Cena, and you watch some of the what's the WWE show that was recently on? I was watching. It's like Unreal or something, or it was like a behind the scenes.
yeah.
And it's kind of one of those where, they may have been building up storylines for a while and had a plan. And then when John Cena basically came back and said, "Hey, look, guys, I'm going to give you 12 months and like, this is it for me." Like, that may have changed a lot of things that they had already had planned, because again, I don't know if WWE plans things out 6 months in advance, a year in advance, and they talk about, we listen to the fans and, things do change, but it's still one of those that if they had planned on Cody going against whoever, then John comes in and says, "Hey, I'm," like I said, that may have thrown a wrench into what their storylines were. They tried to appease John, but at the same time, you sit there and, like, I mean, realistically, I do think they dropped the ball by having him drop the belt to Cody, like turning back to a good guy, because basically it was babyface on babyface.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I just, so basically the only thing I can see is he goes up against Lesnar. Lesnar whoops him so bad that he quote unquote needs time off, comes back in October, wins against Lesnar. And then it's like I said, the only thing I can see is, he's going to have somebody step up and talk trash about him while he's off all November. And then that'll be his finishing match in December.
And again, he on the mic, John is top 5. I would put him maybe 2, just because he's creative and what he says, and he's like he's embarrassed The Rock, he's embarrassed Roman Reigns, he's embarrassed a lot of guys on the mic. Austin Theory, which I think he's hurt right now, and I thought that would have been a good, data boy. Let's push you forward, if he got a shot, but he's injured. I don't see anybody that can be like that young buck that's up and coming, that they see can be the next superstar coming up. Not the main guy, because that takes forever. That takes a long time. But who can be the next guy that's coming up, whether Raw, SmackDown, NXT, that's coming up? I don't see anybody. I can't think of anybody, but
I mean, you got the LA Knights, the Drew McIntyre.
LA Knights, like,
something.
LA Knight, he's in his 40s.
And then, you got your Damian Pierces, but I mean, they dropped the ball on Damian Pierce too.
Yes, he's been out. I know he's been going. Who's he going against right now? Is it Drew McIntyre or who's?
But we talked about where like he was supposed to have been booked in, one of the PLEs, and like there was nothing. There were like he didn't even perform.
Yeah,
so it's I don't get what they're doing right now, and hopefully they figure it out, and they got 3 months to put a story together for John to finish out the career. But again, like you look at who he came up with, and it's one of those where he already faced Orton, so I don't know that they would go back to that well. Same thing, CM Punk. I don't know that they would go back to that well.
Yeah, so they blew the water early. I feel like they blew their wad early with some of the greatest rivalries that he had with Orton and CM Punk. Obviously Edge was another good one, but Edge is in AEW, so I can't see him coming in and doing that. Jericho has hinted about coming back, but Jericho's like in his like mid-50s, I think. I don't know how old is Jericho, but that he didn't have really a good rivalry with him. But he needs somebody that's. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know that Jericho really has much left in the tank. either.
no, not at all.
And it's one of those where like you want to kind of the Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, where it's like, I mean, for sending somebody off, you
Do
want
it
to
right.
send them off
Do it right.
correctly. And I don't think Jericho in the state of his wrestling career, because like I've watched some of this AEW stuff that he's been doing, and it's lackluster, and it's just one of those where, unfortunately, not to say he's let himself go, but
He does that for when he says when he's a heel shouldn't be like his ideal heel is not to be like all cut up and in shape. He lets himself go when he's a heel, and then he like works out when he's a baby face. So that's his mentality for it. You know what? To be honest with you, I just hope it's Randy, and they have that. You can definitely build a story about that, how they came up together, this and that, and their rival will be going 20 something years back and forth, and at the end of the day, it's Randy who puts him out to retirement. I think that that makes sense.
It's either that, or to me, it's got to be The Rock, where The Rock is coming back as the final boss, and
But there's no payoff for that.
trying to ruin wrestling, and John is the savior. Like,
but where does what to put The Rock out?
That
And John Cena goes, rides out to the sunset with his, as a Lone Ranger that put The Rock out of business. Like, what's going on? What are you trying to tell me?
Yeah, that would be my idea. Or one final idea: Ron Killings going off the edge.
They already made him a good guy after he went off the edge.
John Cena has to pull him back in.
Oh, they already did that story, man. They did it for a week, and then they put Ron Killings back on in the back at catering, just making everybody laugh. It's
yeah, but if you remember, like there was an interaction, like they did a thing where John like basically like yeah man, good to see you came back to the right side, and then he's like my hero's back. And then somebody else stepped in, and then all of a sudden like he was back to Ron Killings, where he was angry and whatever. So like I said, that's my way out there theory is like, Ron Killings becomes, some evil heel, and John's got to bring him back to being a baby face and likable guy. That would be my way out there, like, final thing for John. But I don't even think he has to face Ron to do that. Like John could do that, in the course of the storyline, of finishing out his career. So, but that was my final, like, way out there theory of like, we got to come back to Ron and John, almost like in a comedy style, ending.
It'd be funny if Ron comes out during John Cena's last match. He's like, no, I'm gonna do this for you. Just like I was like, what the hell, dude? This is my night in Boston.
Yeah, because I just saw something of like, sorry I couldn't make it to Dublin because I went to Dublin.
Went to the wrong Dublin,
yeah. So like I said, I don't. That was my way out there theory of like, R-Truth goes way off the edge, becomes a heel, and John's got to pull him back to being a baby face and being the likable R-Truth. That's my way out there theory, but I like I said, I think The Rock is a doable. Like I said, the Orton thing, it got spent way too early,
and the CM Punk he spent too early as well.
And like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna put John against Roman Reigns to push Roman again? Roman's over. Like
Roman's hugely over. If you watch Raw tonight, there was like the chance for him today was ridiculous. So
it's one of those where it's like, okay, so who is the young buck that needs to be put over by John? And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's why John had to keep coming back because Roman couldn't get over. That's why he kept coming back because Roman couldn't get over. He wanted the company pushed Roman and he couldn't get over, and they had to bring John back to give him that push, that nudge. So again, we'll find out in the next couple of dates. I know the next week is the PLE. I'm excited to see that. So stay tuned for all of that. So I think we're good here. I think JC needs to rest and eat. I don't know if you ate yet. Usually,
I have not.
yeah. There we go. So definitely get some food in. I know you've been hustling and working for us, so and doing all the cool stuff. So JC, thanks, and thanks to Ivan for joining in. I know Stevie B is under the weather with his allergies. He got sunburned the week before that. That kid is all over the place. All over the place. So.
Excuses. At least mine are like usually like, oh, I'm off a certain day, so I need to work, the day of the podcast so I can have off another day.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Like I have an allergy.
I take
grow up, Peter Pan.
He doesn't want to grow up. All right, y'all. That is it for today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you're subscribing, hitting that subscribe button, and getting all our notifications for all our clips and our videos. Again, thank you, listeners, for sticking with us and supporting us through 262 episodes at this point. Thank you to our sponsors, 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans. Check us out on Twitter at TCSF Pod. Serge handles that mostly. On Facebook, IG, that's usually me. Try to do my best on there. So if you're gonna debate sports, our posts, go ahead and do that there. You want to send us a recommendation for something else to try as far as food, shows, or anything else like that? True Chicago Sports Fans at gmail.com. Yeah, we're definitely foodies. All right, y'all. For JC and Ivan, I am Big Z, and we'll see you next time for episode 263. And until then, be good to each other for the love of sports.